Hello students, welcome to Btech360. The video that I'm about to do is because a lot of you students have demanded for this. In fact, every single video that I've done, there's been a comment about us wanting to be covering this particular institution, which is IIST, which is Indian Institute of Space Science and Technology. The reason obviously is very clear that most of you want to work at ISRO, most of you want to be a part of the Mangalyaan project and the Gaganyaan project and those kind of things. But it's also important for you to understand how do you get into ISRO. And one of the biggest pathways for you to get into ISRO is through this particular institution. Let me talk to you about this particular institution, right? This has been the first chancellor of this institute, Indian Institute of Space Science Technology, is the former president, late Sri Abdul Kalam. He was the first chancellor of this university. And by the way, the students here built the Vyom, which is India's first student-designed sounding rocket, successfully launched in 2012. Right, it's got a hands-on mission experience because SS Space, which is a small spacecraft systems and payload center, enables students to build real satellites like Inspire and onboard computers for ISRO's POEM projects. Right, and by the way, it's also called Asia's first space university. The legacy, the kind of success that this institute has seen in terms of creating good scientists and engineers who work for ISRO and work for the space sciences technology and India's space science growth has been tremendous. Let me talk to you through how you can get into this institution and most importantly, how do you get into ISRO through IIST. Because mind you, for you to get into IIST doesn't mean that you get into ISRO. Both are two separate things. You need to exactly understand the nuances, the exact requirements, the exact eligibility that you need to get into IIST and then also to get into ISRO, which is what I'm going to speak about, and also talk to you about the kind of career prospects, the kind of companies that come for placement, the kind of cutoffs that you need, and the kind of CGPA that you need to be a part of ISRO also. Let me take you through this.
काफी स्टूडेंट्स टॉप कॉलेजेस लूज कर देते हैं गलत काउंसलिंग रीजन की वजह से, लेकिन ये मिस्टेक आप अवॉइड कर सकते हो क्योंकि इंडिया के बेस्ट जेई और नीट काउंसलर्स आ रहे हैं आपकी सिटी में। तो यहां मिलेगा आपको एक्सपर्ट गाइडेंस कॉलेज, ब्रांच एंड एडमिशन पर, और सीट्स होने वाली है लिमिटेड, तो अभी के अभी आप जाकर रजिस्टर कर सकते हो।
Now before I move further, I'll always tell you 2-3 things that you must know about. Please subscribe to Btech360. If you want to talk to us, there's a WhatsApp number. You can talk to us, send a message, and our counselors will call you up. If you want me to cover any other institution, please write in the message box. We'll be happy to cover that. And we've done about 14-15 of such institutions, which we call the hidden gems of India. And this is one part of it. What are the hidden gems of India? These are colleges which are not going through the JOSA counseling, but have a fantastic career prospect. This also is not going through JOSA counseling, and that's why we are covering it here, right? So if you want me to cover anything else, please write to me. But these are hidden gems, and I want you to look at all the other options also that we covered till now. We're going to cover one a day from till we are completely exhausted with the list. But the idea is simple, that we want you to have more options than just the IITs, NITs, IIITs and GFTS, because not everyone gets 98-99 percentile. And in the process, we're covering some of these institutions. And in that process, we are also covering IIST because, of course, it is the most important thing is not through JOSA counseling, though it is using the JEE Advanced score. And that's a big difference that you must know here, that to get into IIST, it does use the JEE Advanced score, but it is not through JOSA counseling, it's through a separate application process. Now, first of all, let's talk of IIST itself. IIST itself was created in 2007. It was created in 2007. Of course, the planning happened much earlier, remember that. It's a government institution. 61st is the NRF ranking in the engineering category. So it is the 61st best engineering college in the country at this point in time, based on the Government of India, Ministry of Education's ranking policy. The campus is about 100 acres here in Thiruvananthapuram, right? 538 students is what you have in undergrad 4-year program, of which 86% are boys and 13% are girls. By the way, in this college there are extranumerary seats for girls, and that is why this is happening. Otherwise, this is also very difficult, right? And about 96% of the students come from outside the state of Kerala. And only 4% come from the state of Kerala. And the total faculty is 101. Now, this 101 includes all other programs also, masters and everything also. We'll talk about it as we move along. Now, this is important for you. Obviously, you want to understand why we're talking about this. Of course, there's a lot of demand from all of you. But more importantly, you would also want to understand the kind of placement that happened here. The placements are such. In 23-24, based on the NRF data, right, which is Ministry of Education, National Institute of Ranking Framework, Government of India. So, Ministry of Education. In 23-24, in the 4-year program, which is undergrad 4-year program is what we're talking about, there are 116 students who graduated, which means that actually after getting admitted, they also graduated, which means these students would have taken admission in 2019-20, right? Of the 116 students, 14 students opted to study further, which means they wanted to pursue masters and PhD also possibly, which means what is left is 102 students to be placed, 116 minus 14. Of the 102, 89 students got placed at a median salary of 11.64 lakh rupees. At a median salary of 11.64 lakh rupees, 89 students were placed. Now that is 4-year program. Then you have the 5-year program also. UG 5-year program, which is placement and higher studies for previous 3 years. Obviously, they have all the 3 years. But let's stick to the 23-24 data only. In 23-24, you actually had 22 students who graduated, right? No student wanted to study further because it's of course a dual degree program, which means it's leading to a master's. Of the 22 students, 18 students got placed, and again the median salary is 11.64 lakh rupees. So obviously the median is calculated across all the programs, which is where it seems to be the same number. But between the two, here you actually have 102 students who were sitting for placement and 89 got placed. Here 22 students sat for placement and 18 got placed. And the median salary is 11.64 lakh rupees. That's the first thing that you should be knowing about. So that's the number that we're talking about in terms of placements. In 24-25, which is for which we also have data now. Like last, I showed you through the document that I showed here. This was the number that we showed, 11.64 lakh rupees and 87.3% placement. In the current year, 119 students graduated, 80 were placed, 21 moved for higher studies, which means we're dealing with about 99 students sitting there for placement, of which 80 were placed, which is 82% placement at 11.98 lakh rupees or 12 lakh rupees is the median salary. That is what you get when you get into IIST, right? So if you look at it, in a commercial sense, many of the IITs would obviously give you a better median salary than this. Some of the bigger IITs will give you a far better salary, almost twice of what you're talking of here in terms of median salary itself, right? But the important thing is a lot of students join IIST because for them the pathway, it is the pathway to get into ISRO. And a lot of students want to work at ISRO, which is where a lot of motivation and driven people join IIST. Now, by the way, that is for 4-year I showed you. This 11.98 lakh is what I showed you for the 4-year program, where 82% placement is there. It's a UG 4-year program, which is a B.Tech program. Now, if I would talk about the 5-year program, which is a UG 5-year program, which is a dual degree program, mind you. There in 24-25, 17 students graduated. Now, look at this year. 22 were admitted, 17 graduated, which means 5 students did not even graduate. They failed or have a backlog or whatever it is. And the same thing would hold good earlier also, right? And of the 17, 12 were placed, 2 moved for higher studies, and 80% placement, 11.98 lakh, because they seem to be taking the median salary across all branches. Now here also, if you now notice in the previous data also, 131 were admitted, 119 graduated. So 12 students, if you now 12 students did not even graduate. They failed or have a backlog, one doesn't know, but 12 did not even graduate. So very clearly, there is in terms of curriculum and in terms of testing and everything, it's very strict that so many students are failing the examination also, or failing to graduate also, right? Now, the broad placement number, when you look at it, the highest package for Btech is about 15 lakh rupees and the median is 11.5. So the highest and median is very close to each other if you notice very carefully. And for B.Tech it's 38.5 lakh, which means some foreign company would have come and taken some students, and the median is 11 lakh rupees. Now this, in the sense of when you compare it with IITs and all, is pretty low. But again, as I said, a lot of people join IIST because they are very driven to join ISRO also. Now, what are the programs that they have here? They have 4 programs rather. One is Aerospace Engineering, B.Tech, right? The second one is B.Tech Electronics and Communication Engineering, where the specialization is Avionics. Mind you, ISRO is a very specialized institution, right? It's space sciences. So a lot of stuff that you see there is about space sciences and those kind of things. The third one, they started CSE in data science and all. So they actually specialize in data science, and this is new from 2025. In August 25 is when they launched this. So you can actually get into B.Tech CSE also in IIST also. And then you have the dual degree, which is B.Tech in Engineering Physics plus MSc and M.Tech, right? Here, the specialization is Astronomy and Astrophysics, Solid State Physics, Earth System Science, and Optical Engineering. All these things are very essential for ISRO also, which is where these courses are created. But it is very specialized courses. all a part of B.Tech engineering in engineering physics, which with these specializations that you have. So these are 4 programs that you have. In all, the way you can get into this is through JEE Advanced Score. Now, one big thing that you must know is JEE Advanced Score is used by IIST to admit students, but you need to apply to it separately. Through the JEE Mains Advanced Score, they create an inter-SEM merit list of all the students who applied to through IIST portal only for IIST. So the rank that I'm about to talk about is not the JEE Advanced rank. It is a IIST rank that was created for of all those applicants who actually applied to IIST and nothing else. Right? The minimum marks requirement is 75% marks in Gen or 65% in class 12th. Right? And selection process admissions are based on performance at the JEE Advanced Score, which is what we're talking about. Right? Now, how does it work? First, let's understand the seat matrix that you have here. In Aerospace engineering, you have 60 seats. For EWS, you have extra numeracy of 6 seats. For women, you have an extra numeracy of 6 seats. And PMSSS, which is Prime Minister's Special Scholarship Scheme. This is meant for the students of Jammu and Kashmir and Ladakh. That is 3 seats. In all, you have 75 seats. Similarly, for electronic communication engineering, you have 60 seats for general OBC, NCL, SC, ST and all. EWS is supernumerary 6 more seats. Women 6 more seats. And 3 for Prime Minister's Special Scholarship Scheme. In all, 75 seats. Similarly, for CSC, data science, 30 seats. 3 in EWS, 3 in women, and 0 in PMSSS, 36 seats is what you have. And then you have dual degree program, 20 seats are there, 2 for EWS, 2 for women, in all 24 seats. In all put together, you have 210 seats, of which 170 is for all the categories, plus 17 for EWS extra numeracy, 17 for women, which is extra numeracy, and 6 for the Prime Minister's Special Scholarship Scheme for the students of Jammu and Kashmir and Ladakh. In all, you have 210 seats, but what you're going to compete for is 170. Within that, there is also obviously a reservation for the categories. So you're essentially dealing with about 85 seats is what you'll be competing for if you're in the open category, and then the EWS and the OBC and SC and ST and all those things. And then the women, and the reason why you saw so many women there also is because these extra numeracy seats are working hard there to ensure that many women join IIST, and then because through that process also join ISRO. Now, what is the minimum mark requirement in JEE Advanced for you to get into IIST? It's not important for you to say that any JEE Advanced qualified student will come in here. You also need a minimum mark. So IIST doesn't mind leaving its seats vacant, but it doesn't let a student with a weaker score come in. So the minimum marks that you're dealing with is 20% marks in aggregate at JEE Advanced and 5% in each of the subjects also, which is physics, chemistry and maths. Now when you talk of 20% marks, you're dealing with about 30,000 JEE Advanced rank, 35,000 kind of a JEE Advanced rank. So you need to be at least up to that level to be a part of IIST examination. IIST qualifying for IIST rather, right? And if you're in EWS, OBC, NCL, it is 18% marks, and for SC/ST it's 10% marks. So there has to be a minimum set standard, minimum marks that you need to be there. It is not that anyone can get in based on the rank that they get, and anyone with 0 percentile also, which is what happens in NEET and NEET PG and all, you know that, right? But at IIST, they don't mind letting their seats be vacant, but they would not take a student who doesn't get the minimum standard, which is the minimum qualifying marks, to be a part of IIST, because it's for the most critical missions that India has, and they would not let a loss of merit to affect that mission also, right? So that is what it is. Now, what are the things? So last year when we saw the data, what we're talking about, I told you earlier that you can get into IIST through JEE Advanced Score, but every student must apply separately through the IIST portal, and IIST creates its own inter-SEM merit list. But you still want to understand that at what percentage or what rank of JEE Advanced can you actually get into IIST. So for that, IIST also declared the minimum percentage at which someone got into IIST last year, which is this percentage. In JEE Advanced, the highest rank is 28.61 is what you got in JEE Advanced percentage of marks, mind you, because JEE Advanced doesn't have a percentile. So what we're talking about is 28.61 percentile, which essentially is about 15,000 kind of a rank, broadly, right? And the highest percentage that you got, where student got into in general category, we're now talking of general or open category rather, is 43% marks, which is about 4,000-5,000 rank. So a student with about 4,000-5,000 student rank is getting in. which means anyone below 3,000 is not coming into IIST, very clearly if you notice that. And the highest rank is about 15 to 17, 18,000 rank. See, there is no, IIST doesn't openly declare or publish the highest and closing rank. So all we can do is to deduce it from the kind of percentage of marks at which people got into it at JEE Advanced. Because remember, they only take the score and create their own merit list. And from that perspective, in general category for B.Tech Aerospace Engineering, 43% is the highest marks that you got. And the lowest in the general category that anyone could get into B.Tech Aerosciences was 28.61% JEE Advanced score. And similarly for B.Tech Electronics and Communication, it is 40.56 marks is the highest marks that a student had, and the lowest that they had was 28.33%. Similarly for dual degree B.Tech and Masters of Science, Masters of Technology, it's 36.94 is the highest marks that they got in JEE Advanced, and 28.06 was the lowest marks that they got. And B.Tech CSE is now becoming more competitive. By the way, last year it was introduced. This year it will be more competitive. Just be clear about that. 42.78% was the highest closing marks and highest opening marks, and 30.28 was the highest closing marks of JEE Advanced score for you to get in there. And then you also have the category ranks, category scores. If you want, please take a screenshot of this whole thing so that you will be helped in terms of understanding whether you have a chance of getting into IIST through the JEE Advanced score. Essentially, if you get anything below 28%, you don't stand a chance of getting into IIST through the JEE Advanced score. That's what it says, right? And it has gone up to 45% also, 43-44% also. You need to be, so the range is between 28% to 43% for you to get into IIST through the open category. And if you are a part of the EWS category, it is from the range is between 26%. It's around 26%. It's always hovering around 26-28% also across the board, opening and closing, by the way. So there is not much difference between opening and closing as far as EWS is concerned, because the number of seats is only 10%. In OBC, it is again 25 to 27%. Across the board, right? In SC, it's about from right from 13% to 20% is what you're dealing with in SC, and we're talking about the JEE Advanced score, right? And in ST, we're dealing with 11% to 23%, with 22%, which is highest opening marks for B.Tech Aerospace Engineering. So that is what we're dealing with, as well as the kind of score that you need to get into IIST. The highest and the lowest, we're talking of that. So open category 28% to 44% is what you're dealing with. Now moving further, how does the rank work, right? When we looked at the rank, of course, I think the score is what matters more, but just to put things in perspective, I'll also tell you the rank. The highest opening rank at which people got into B.Tech Aerospace is 92. These are the IIST students who applied to IIST and got into it, which also means that 91 students who applied to IIST did not even chose to join the place. 91 students chose some other option and not IIST, right? And the highest closing rank is 1076. And same thing here, 135 for B.Tech Electronics and Communication is the highest opening rank, and highest closing rank was 1091. I'm talking of open category now. For dual degree, 264 was the highest opening rank, and highest closing rank was 1174. For B.Tech in CSE, the highest closing rank was 93, and the highest closing rank was 822. So that's what you have here. And then you actually have the category rank of EWS, OBC, SC and ST. Mind you, it's far better for you to look at the percentage, because that tells you exactly, because these are all category ranks. So I've already explained to you the kind of score that you need in JEE Advanced, and that I already told you. By the way, there is also a minimum qualifying also. The minimum qualifying score that you need in JEE Advanced is 20% for general category, 18% for other categories, and 10% for SC/ST category. That also you must keep it in mind, because that's a minimum eligibility. If you don't get that, you can't even apply. As simple as that. Right. Now, moving further, the fees, these very moderate fees, right? This is the fee structure that you're dealing with. And by the way, this is semester fee. Per semester, you're paying about 68,000 rupees. So when you deal with that 68,000 rupees, you're essentially dealing with about 5.5-6 lakh rupees as the total fee over the 8 semesters, plus the hostel fee and hostel rent and everything. Mess semester is 15,000. So in all, you're dealing with about 1 lakh rupees, which is about 8 lakh rupees, including food, hostel, everything that you can. So it is very, very moderately priced, if you will, because at this cost, no one else will be able to afford this. Of course, because it's subsidized by the government, you can actually get here. And some of the categories also have a lot of scholarships also, right? What are the scholarships? The top 5 students AR less than 1000 in JEE Advanced 2025, they get 100% fee waiver. So if you're in the top 1000 JEE Advanced, you get 100% fee waiver. But what we've seen there very clearly is that up to 2000 people are not getting into IIST also, right? And by the way, after getting into it, of course you get a 100% fee waiver, but you need to maintain a 9% CGPA each year. Otherwise, this gets discontinued also. So it's not just about getting in with a scholarship, but ensuring that you maintain the scholarship by ensuring that you get the minimum CGPA, which is 9 CGPA, right? And then you also have a CGPA-based scholarship, which is 9 in any semester, 50% fee waiver. So if you get 9 in any semester, even after you join in, then you get a 50% fee waiver in the following semester. And this is limited to 10% of the students per program, right? So you do have some kind of scholarships there. Now, the big question that a lot of students ask, always the question that people want is, people get into IIST because they want to get into ISRO. They want to be a part of the missions, which is Mission Mangalyaan, Mission Gaganyaan and those kind of things, or build your own satellites. Now, how do you get into ISRO? Remember, getting into IIST and getting into ISRO are two independent things. Of course, it's the best pathway possible for you to get into ISRO. Getting into IIST is the best pathway possible for you to get into ISRO, but it doesn't guarantee that you get into ISRO. And this is very important for you to know how you can get into ISRO. Now, for that, there are minimum standards that they have. You need to have at least a 7.5 CGPA. Across the board, you need to have 7.5 CGPA, right? On a 10-point scale. And that's a primary filter. Here, there shouldn't be anything. If you don't have anything less than 7.5, you're disqualified for even appearing or applying for ISRO or to get into ISRO. This makes it very difficult for many people. At least 30-40% students get weeded out from here itself. Only 50-60% students can get 7.5 CGPA and then apply to ISRO or try to appear for an interview to get into ISRO, right? And by the way, 7.5 is a minimum eligibility. It doesn't mean that if you get 7.5, you get into ISRO. There is no guarantee out there. Again, there are multiple filters that are there. And the other thing is, you cannot have a backlog. No active backlogs. If you have a backlog, again you're out. Even if you have a 9 CGPA, if you have one backlog, you're out of the system, right? And this is mandatory. Then medical fitness, of course, as per ISRO standards. Interviews on technical rounds, right? And then evaluation is concepts, projects, and role fit is what they look for, because this is decisive factor. If you're not, very clear about your role fit and the concepts and projects, then again you're not selected. Even if you get 7.5 and even if you don't have any backlogs, you will still be weeded out at an interview stage itself, right? So now what it means is, you need to have a 7.5 and below this direct rejection, right? And backlog disqualification even with good CGPA, right? Medical fitness required for specific roles. Interview, not all eligible students are selected. So even if you get 7.5 and above CGPA and also have backlogs, you may not get selected depending on how many people apply. And evaluation determines final absorption. If there is no role fit, if you don't have clarity on concepts or projects, then even if you qualify everywhere, so nothing is guaranteed. Getting into IIST doesn't mean you get into ISRO, but that is the best pathway possible for you to get into ISRO. Again, I'm saying this, I'll tell you through numbers of how many students got into ISRO through IIST also. Right. Now, why is 7.5 CGPA very difficult to manage, right? Now, this is very important again for you to understand. Now, Aerospace plus Avionics is very demanding curriculum. These two are very demanding curriculum. And the grading is relative and competitive. For you to get 7.5 CGPA, because it's relative and competitive, unless you really work hard, it's very difficult for you to get it 7.5 CGPA. And the peer quality is strong, because everyone is coming from JEE Advanced, which means you are the topmost students of the country, and from there again you're filtering out to the top 25-30,000 students who apply here. So we're talking of the top 2% of the students trying to apply to IIST and then getting selected, right? So maintaining 7.5 CGPA is not trivial. It requires a lot of hard work and commitment. And by the way, IIST, it doesn't matter if you don't get selected. They're not working to make you get selected. They're not working to get you placed. They're working to make sure that you are the right student for ISRO. Right. So from that perspective, there is no, unlike some private, there is no evaluation is very strict. CGPAs stay compressed. There is no CGPA inflation that happens in most of the private colleges because they want to show a better picture to the parent and the student that they got very good CGPA. I know a lot of universities and colleges where the CGPA is 8, 9, but the student doesn't understand the basic concepts also. Because they want to satisfy the parent and the student, and they keep inflating CGPAs. But when you come out into the market and go with the same CGPA, your score doesn't get you an entry into a job because your skill and your understanding of the subject and the concept gets you a job, and that you fail miserably. I've seen CGPAs with 9, but they don't know how to utter a word or explain a concept. So, unlike private colleges, there is no CGPA inflation that happens here. So, 7.5 CGPA is what you deserve and not that what is given to you or what is handed over to you. So, you must really work hard to get the 7.5 CGPA, to qualify to get into ISRO, make sure that there are no backlogs, and then qualify to be a part of the ISRO team by making sure that you understand the concepts, the projects, and also the role fit. All these things are necessary. When we looked at the past numbers, like if you look at about 125 students is what you have, only 80 are become eligible at 7.5. And we're talking the past years, by the way. As we move along, we'll also talk of the 5-year and everything, right? But in all, not more than 60 to 65% students are become eligible to sit for ISRO. So you get into IIST, you graduate, right? After the graduation happens, after the number of students who graduate, only about 60-65% students actually become eligible to appear for the ISRO interviews. And that too if you're selected to and called for the interview, by the way. What I told you is a minimum qualification, minimum eligibility. But what we see here is the number of students who even graduated, the number of students who qualifying to, be eligible to sit for an ISRO or get selected is about 60-65% only. The others fall below 7.5% CGPA or don't have backlogs or have some other, the medical records and all might not be clear. So that is how strict it is. So a thing that you must understand is IIST is direct entry to ISRO, right? That's the earlier narrative that you had, which is not correct. Reality today is it is not guaranteed. It is conditional CGPA plus selection plus backlogs. It is declining slightly as institute opens up to other recruiters. Because this institute wants to now also recruit from a few other colleges, it is now making sure that they only get the best students from IIST, but doesn't become an automatic pathway that you get into IIST and you get into ISRO is no longer true. And it is the earlier narrative is completely trashed at this point in time because ISRO is going to many other colleges also for recruitment for itself. Now, when we looked at the past data, and we talked of IIST ISRO placement for B.Tech students. So we're talking of IIST and how many students got into ISRO from there. There are about 13 ISRO DOS centers across, right? And the eligibility is 7.5 CGPA, I've already told you. About 1,430 students joined ISRO till March 2025 through IIST. Through IIST, about 1,430 students who are working at IIST at this point, at ISRO today are from IIST. 1,430 students. That's a good number. So that's the reason I'm saying this is the best pathway for you to get into ISRO. But not necessarily that just because you got into IIST, it guarantees you to be working at ISRO. Right? And when we looked at data, again, this from the IIST website itself, the total number of students in the batch was 64. The number of students who are eligible is 42. Now look at this. About 35% of the students were not even eligible to sit for ISRO, right? 3 took up some other offers, and median salary is 8 lakh rupees and maximum salary is 15 lakh rupees, right? And this is from the aerospace engineering. EC in avionics, when you look at it, 59 students were in the branch, only 44 were eligible for getting into ISRO, of which 10 chose non-ISRO related things, and the median salary is 14 lakh rupees and the maximum salary is 28 lakh rupees. So these students could have got the 28 lakh possibly. Because in ISRO, you'll exactly have a similar tier structure in terms of the salary and pay, right? So you must be very clear about what's happening here, that the number of students who are qualifying after getting into IIST is only 65%. From there, if many of the students prefer to work for some other company and not ISRO, and then what is left actually comes to ISRO also, and the salary possibly, the highest salary possibly is of an international company which is taking students from IIST, but that's where the reality is. Now the other thing, and this is the same thing, you remember there is in the master's program there are specializations. There is Earth System Science where 4 students graduated, only 3 were eligible for sitting for placement for ISRO. In astronomy and astrophysics, 7 students were graduated, 6 were eligible. In optical engineering, 4 graduated, only 2 were eligible. In solid state physics, 7 graduated and all 7 were eligible, thankfully. And this is the maximum and median salary that we're talking about. This is the maximum salary and this is the median salary. So you also have in optical engineering and all a 6 lakh offer also being rolled out. Now, besides ISRO, if you get into IIST, what are the other companies that come for placement? That's also important for you because you need to keep your options open. At some point in time, your mission might change from working for ISRO to working for a good, space science technology company. And by the way, India is really opening itself up to private sector as far as space science technology is concerned. So you must keep those options open because some of the young startups are doing fantastic work in this space, right? But when we looked at other companies that are coming for ISRO for placement, you have Robert Bosch, TCS, Delta Electronics, Altair, ST Microelectronics, Unistring Solutions, Dijantra Research, Textron India, Tata Advanced, Mahindra & Mahindra, Skyroot Aerospace, GE Vernova, CDAC Bangalore, Dhruva Space, which is a startup, Stardor, DTICA, Coral Technologies, Kalido, New Space Research, Manastu, and you actually have many companies, Delta X, Tata Technologies, Texas Instruments, Anand Technologies. So you have many startups and many large companies coming to this IIST for placement. And these are students who might choose these companies instead of ISRO also. There is a possibility that ISRO doesn't select you and you might come here. There is a possibility that you might be selected by ISRO but you might want to come here. That's both other possibilities. But ISRO remains the biggest recruiter from IIST. About 50% of the students who study at IIST ultimately end up landing at ISRO. Now, we also looked at the data of students who studied at IIST and how are they performing in their life, where are they placed, where are they domiciled and those kind of things. When we look at that data, we found about 3,540 students who studied at IIST, who or rather claim that they studied at IIST, of which about 89% are working in India, 5% are in USA, about 1.5% is in UAE, and 1.5% in Canada. Rather, 1% is in UAE and Canada. So, 11% students who studied at IIST are working around the world. And of course, this is from those companies who came there for placement and took them there, and possibly because of that, they've grown up the ladder, moved companies, but are working around the country, of which 173 of these students are right now in USA and working in one of the US-based companies. And possibly some of them might be working for NASA also. Right? Of the 89%, Kerala is 30% very clearly. This, of course, is because of ISRO. ISRO is based in Thiruvananthapuram, so obviously it is there. And then Karnataka, because Karnataka also has a big hub of ISRO, which is, they have 13 centers and all. So that also seems to be happening, and Maharashtra also has one. So very clearly you see a pathway where all the students seem to be doing decently well, and they are working, about 11% are working around the globe, and about 89% working in India, of which, as I told you, about 1,400 plus students are working at ISRO at this point in time. Now that is data for you as far as ISRO is concerned. I hope we've answered all your questions of all the students who are demanding from us that we cover IIST. If you still have any questions, write to us here and we'll be happy to answer that. Remember, getting into IIST doesn't mean you're getting into ISRO. And remember, the fact that you get JEE Advanced qualification doesn't mean that you're going to IIST, because there is a minimum eligibility that you have. And at every point in time, IIST is making sure that you're the right fit for the kind of roles that they're defining, and then you obviously have a decent pathway and decent career. And also remember that possibly the reason why students choose not IIST but some other IIT is because the median salary there is higher as compared to IIST. But if your mission is to work in space science technology, this possibly is the best pathway, because if you join ISRO, from here you can actually fly your wings and move out of the country also. If you want only career and global recognition also, that's a great possibility, because your hands-on experience and hands-on skills that you develop is much better than wherever you work anywhere in the world at this point in time. I hope this helps you. Thank you so much. Namaste.